So everybody's probably aware the power runs down the road with the utility. In this area, it's mostly above ground. Other areas, it's underground. That is an area of opportunity. If you're in the trades, working for a utility company can be a very lucrative career, very good career. That's one option to build the kind of stuff that brings it to buildings like this. Starting out here, if you see those gray conduits on this telephone pole that's right in front of us, this utility pole, that's where our power is going to go. So what they're going to do is break into these lines. They're going to hang some transformers up on top of the pole here. What that'll do is take the higher power that's at the road and step it down to the lower power that this building needs. And we will pull our wires underground and into the center of this building, and then we distribute out throughout the building and property. So we start here with electric and our communication, like internet and stuff, coming down this pole and inside. And if we walk in here, I'll show you where it all lands to start. So this room right here will be the electrical room. This is the main distribution for this property and space. If you look up here, for example, this is what they call the gear. This is our electrical equipment, panels, breakers, things like that. So this is our main disconnect, meaning if you walked up to that, hit the big breaker, the whole place turns off. So we're gonna take our power from the road into this. Then we have to meter out all these different units downstairs, and then all these apartments upstairs, and they leave the panels that you see these conduits stubbed up for, and they go out to the different areas of the building, out to the things that we need outside, and we distribute everything from here. Same with communication. Internet and TV and things are going to be in that corner, and they'll leave there and go out to the apartments, out to the commercial tenants, wherever they got to go. So just to show you, power can be disconnected here. Then you have your commercial, 1, 2, 3, apartments, which are upstairs. Everything leaves from here. So if we peek outside quick, I can just show you a few things that we had to run that are part of this. When we get upstairs, we'll talk about more of what you can do.
That one might be screwed shut.
So a couple things that we had to do in this process from that electrical room is we had to run underground power to these garages. We had to run underground power to lighting that's in the back and front of the building. So you had parking lot lights. They had a water meter requirement and utility requirement out here that we had to run underground to. And then there's a drive-through potential here, and we had to run out the piping so that you could drive up and order your lunch or dinner or prescription or whatever. So the main distribution is very, very important, and it leaves underground and goes to everything that's outside. A lot of it will be a mix of underground and in the walls and such in these lower units, and then for the apartments it all goes upstairs and splits out. So one of the things that you know, being an electrician on our end, you get to do site work because you're doing underground work, put conduit in the ground. You get to do electric work, you get to interact with the utilities, you get to pull wires through pipe, you can do residential, like the upstairs of this, commercial, like the downstairs of this. There's a lot of opportunity. When we get upstairs, I'll show you more of what you can do and how you can specialize in these things. Being an electrician isn't just one thing. There's many specialties that you can do within that one trade if there's something that you like the most. So if we step back in, we'll go upstairs and I'll walk you through a couple of the apartments we got started. This part of the building has 2 units. There's a 1-bedroom unit and a 2-bedroom unit. This 1-bedroom unit is in the process of being wired. This 2-bedroom unit next to us is nearly complete, say 90%. So I figured we'd start over here. As you can see, when we walk into this place, there's nothing. You know, any of the walls that you see here, everything starts empty. So you need people to pull wire, lay things out, tack up boxes, plan where lights will be, plan where switches will be, consult with the owners to see how they want their space to be, talk to the designers on how things are going to lay out in the space. There's a million details you need to go over, but if you're with a bunch of professionals, it becomes easy to coordinate these things and you can move through the space rather quickly. So where we start is on the design phase. So I've tacked up one of our prints when we did this project with the Fanchers, we didn't have an engineered electrical drawing. We worked with them to design the building to meet their needs and to be suitable apartments for the level that they were building this building at. So our design is this. This is the one bedroom that we're standing in. And we had to lay out every bit of electrical that's in here that handles the appliances, any lighting, so in here, as you can see right now, these loose wires that aren't nailed down and all these things yet, we're usually the last in, because if you look at this stuff, it's rather flexible, very easy to move around. So we let the plumbers come in, we let the mechanicals come in, so plumbing, heating, cooling, anything that's a hard pipe that doesn't move as easily, all that stuff goes in because we can bend around it. You know, very, very easy for us. So we tend to follow people through on these projects, and we're one of the last trades that come through these spaces. So what you see right now is us distributing lighting, switching. Like there's nothing here.
So Taylor, everything started down here.
Everything started
and then
downstairs.
It works all the apart, okay.
Well, and over here I'll be able to show you there's a panel in the space that was more complete. But we have to run a feeder from downstairs to here, and then we have a circuit box that you have in your house in each unit, and they leave the circuit box and it goes to everything. So in here you're just seeing the beginnings of this, and the panel is roughed in over here, but not much has ran to it because we just started this unit. So in this case, this will start in the electric room downstairs. It's going to come up to this panel, and then everything that we run is going to come back to this panel and get dressed out in here. So that's this one ended up, for whatever reason, it just made the most sense to put it in the laundry room. They're not always in the same spot in each unit. It just depends on the layout. So as you can see, there's a lot to plan and a lot to do, and you got to make sure you got everybody's way and you meet all the codes and everything like that. But a good plan, like a good design that your team works together to create, or you get from somebody, it goes a long ways to make sure it goes smoothly. So if we can, this 2-bedroom unit is much more complete. This was the plan for this space. As you can see over here, this was the panel location here. Everything got roughed to one spot, and when it's all said and done, every one of these wires that goes out to a stove, a water heater most likely, could be part of the furnace. These are receptacles, white ones are lights. Everything's gonna enter this panel. Breakers are gonna go in, meaning you get a switch for each circuit, and everything will be dressed out nicely. And when they drywall and everything, it'll get a cover here, just like you guys are used to seeing at home, where you can go in there and turn things off and on and work safely again. So looking from here, if you follow this, you can see we go up through the ceiling. Yellow is plugs, white is lights. You can see, if you look at these can lights, how we laid them out according to the print. And the white wires hit that, the yellows continue onward. And if you take a look, you can see, depending on the space and what room it is and this and that, you can see where the boxes are, you can see what wires go where. So there's switching, there's receptacles. Depending on circuit size, sometimes we don't need as heavy of a wire, so you'll see white down lower because it doesn't need to be as much power capacity, as much amperage. So we have to run everything through the ceiling and drop down and make sure that it's going to fit the drywallers, and it's going to fit the treatments for the walls and floors and counters and bathrooms and literally everything. So when we start with power outside, it's at a voltage that we can't use. It gets transformed into power to a voltage that we can use, and then brought all the way through the main gear up to a panel in the space, and then all the way to the plug where you charge your phone. So in this example, this is a good example of this site. You can see residential electric. There will be communication and telecom stuff, so internet, TV, phone, that kind of thing. There was outside site work. There was utility work to provide water, gas, electric here, the things that we had to provide, you know, electrical connections to so that they could do what they needed to do. There'll eventually be commercial tenants downstairs, restaurants, offices, retail, whatever it may be. And in these trades, what's beautiful about it, it doesn't matter if you do plumbing or carpentry or electric, excavation, site work, you name it. Any one of those sounds like just, oh, I'm a plumber, I'm a heating guy, or whatever. But the reality is there's tons of very specific specialties that you can do. And you can work on all of it if you love all of it, or if, let's just say, for example, you're like, man, I just love splicing fiber, and I want to put fiber internet everywhere. So you could get trained in that and end up someplace where you just do that and do fiber communication forever. You know what I mean? So it's really, really neat because there's a lot of options, a lot of directions you can go. The trades are very, very lucrative. You have a lot of people that can get into that. You can get into the workforce quickly. You can do well at a young age. There's an enormous opportunity for growth. Part of the path that you might take, for example, if you move into the trades, I don't know if anyone spoke to you about this, but you typically start in the field, you start at the bottom, you're helping, you're carrying things, you're apprenticing, whatever the process might be. You move into the field, eventually you work up to where you can work on your own or work with a team or whatever you do. And if you spend enough time in your career, there's management opportunities above that. So as you get older and you start to age out of the field, there's opportunities to move into the office to estimate, project manage, be a superintendent for your company. There's administrative work, there's clerical work. I mean, you can start in the trades and you can end up being a guy that does estimates. You can start in trades and you can end up being a financial guy. You know what I mean? There's almost no limit to how you can move through a business in the trades and stay in the field if that's what you love, or move into some kind of professional position that opens up a lot of different doors. And that's the same for any trade. I mean, I'm here to talk about electric, but it's important to me that you guys know that it's anything trade related, anything construction. So.
One cool unique thing too is, so since every one of your houses has a hot water tank, a furnace, all that stuff, for us with the apartments, we, like, frankly, if this person uses $300 a month in electrical and that person uses 60, that's why there's 6 separate meters. So every one has their own. So we're doing everything you have in your house times 6. You have 100 meters, it's times 100. That way everyone has their own meter.
That's why
And they got to think all this stuff through.
Yeah. And that's why that distribution is so important too, because I mentioned it, and you'll hear it again. I guess maybe I'll cover the gas, but like the plumbers, the gas, your communications, your electric, all of this was times 10, actually. 6 units, you get a house meter, which means parking lot lights and things that are just general for this site, and your 3 commercial spaces downstairs. So you've got to plan, divide, size, calculate, and install to cover all of these spaces and all of these units. And he's absolutely right, they're all like little buildings. They all get one of everything. So you just, I don't want to say rinse and repeat, but it's a little bit of rinse and repeat. You just move through the space.
How did you learn? What's your story?
So I grew up in this business. My name's, I guess I didn't start well. So my name's Taylor McCabe from McCabe Enterprises. Our electrical company is 5 miles that way in East Park. Our business turns 40 in February. My father started it, and the company is 1 year older than me. So I grew up in it. I went on the books in 2001. I apprenticed. I started in the trenches, pulling wire. No college. And that's a very good point. So like, I went right into the trades. I learned in the field, and I moved into a leadership position and growth opportunity in our own company. And since then, I've been able to create opportunity for other people that came up with me. So, but yeah, started in the field, climbing around trenches. We good?
Like 2 minutes. Switch it in 2 minutes.
I'm good. Any other questions? No? Are any of you interested in this kind of stuff? Did anybody talk to you about what the next steps might be? So if you haven't considered it, look at BOCES. If you're in middle school, high school.
You're ready, just switch with the plumber. How's that?
Okay.
He's right downstairs.
Yep.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, I can. Yeah.
All right, we'll do it. No, we'll do it at the end.
You want to do that at the end?
Yeah.
Okay. Do I finish the school thing?
Finish school.
Okay.
That's important.
So, talk to your counselors at school, talk to your teachers, talk to whoever. You can start in BOCES. It's a wonderful program. You'll see a little bit of everything. Then after that, there's 2-year technical schools that are very, very good. Alfred State's got a great one. I've hired 6 or 7 people out of it. They have a 2-year degree in electrical construction. They also have general construction, HVAC, plumbing, carpentry, roofing, site work, the heavy equipment operation, the whole 9. So there's technical colleges like that where you can get in, get out cheap with a 2-year degree. That'll be a huge leg up. You can do BOCES to familiarize with it, familiarize yourselves with it, and then just go right into the field with, whatever trade you might be interested in. Or to be honest, you can finish school and just go into the trades and apprentice. An apprenticeship is typically a 5-year program that can be done with union or non-union outfits. We do them, and you can work your way up. Like you asked, I started in the trenches and crawling through attics, and I'm president of our company. So there's an endless opportunity to move up if you're willing to work towards it. So lots of ways to get into it. You should definitely consider it.
All right, so let's swap.